And just be here back to a new 1203 Barrett TV. If you see the last one, if you didn't see the last ones, go and check it out. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about what I still find to be one of the most grotesque things that you can ever see in any cartoon. And especially when it comes to something from a whole network that is dedicated to adults, right? And that is, of course, Ren Seeks Help on the Adult Swim cartoon of Ren and Stimpy. I mean, yeah, this is definitely still one of the most grotesque things that you could ever witness. Even, it doesn't matter really if you're an adult, because I've seen lots of adult people, like grown men, just say of how even as grown men, they are just always disgusted at this episode. And of course, we are going to be talking about how, I mean, can you really not blame them though on this? And of course, just with the start as well, just showing that it's not even a good idea. And it's pretty, I mean, from what I've heard as well, and pretty much what other people said too, apparently Stimpy's voice, the original voice of Stimpy, actually didn't reprise his role because he read the script and he was so disgusted by it that he refused to do this crap episode. But apparently Ren's actor reprised his role. I'm pretty sure. At least what I've heard. But yeah, I can understand Stimpy's voice actor not wanting to do something like this. I mean, who would even want to be a part of some grotesque something like this? And of course, having Stimpy just crying for so long at the beginning too, and something that Ren actually did that was so horrible that even he feels guilty about it. And of course, he decides to go and seek help. And he goes over to Dr. Mr. Horse at a place simply called Help. And he goes to a therapist, which is Dr. Mr. Horse. And we actually see the backstory of Ren. And again, this is where things just get all so horrible, right? Because there's a lot of cruelty and grotesque that shows in this too. First to think that Ren remembers being born. Yeah, Ren remembering being born. He remembers him coming out of his mother. And we see a nurse smoking in the operating room, and the doctor slapping Ren across the body, cutting the umbilical cord, while we see blood which is squirt, and also see Bambi come in and eating something that's called a placenta. I don't know exactly what importance that is, but yeah, eating some kind of thing that was part of Ren. And pretty much Ren does not want to be hurt himself, but he wants to inflict pain on others. So yeah, we see him inflicting pain on different things like a caterpillar while he's screaming in agony. We just see Ren taking off the caterpillar's legs while we hear it scream in agony. And we see Ren just using these matches by burning these ants. And also licking a tick with his tongue, which has a stinger on it. And also, the most horrible thing, too, is what he does to a poor frog. Sticks fireworks up the frog's butt, rides a tricycle on the frog while the guts go spluttering, and he even electrocutes puts some jumper cables on the frog and electrocutes it as well. And of course, yeah, it just really just shows you that Ren is just messed up in the head. And again, this just shows you that it just makes you say why the original actor voice of Stimpy didn't return. I'm glad he didn't, because again, who would even want to be a part of something like this? And you know what people do say that this episode is like? This episode is like a creepypasta. This episode is pretty much what a creepypasta would be like. But no, it's not a lost episode. It's not a creepypasta. It's a legit episode. But it's something that would come straight from a lost creepypasta episode. Right? It's something that would come out from something like that. And then, of course, we see Ren trying to finish the frog by hammering it and thinking that it still hasn't had enough pain. And then, of course, Ren just telling more stuff to Dr. Horse, and Dr. Horse eventually pulling out a gun as well. And the frog just banging on the window at one point while it's still in pain when Ren's trying to go to sleep. And we see his dad, which is a priest. And yeah, he gets called in, and I don't want to know why the frog has a human ear on its head. Like, it was not there before. And we see Ren's mother puking on everything as well. And Ren's father tells him that there's only one thing left to do, and opens his Bible and gives him a gun. He gives him a gun, which of course the mother freaks out. And she gives him a chainsaw. She gives Ren a chainsaw and watches him go towards the finishing tree outside of their backyard. And while they're making out, while his parents making out, he messes with the chainsaw, messes the frog, about to throw the frog out. And he does throw the frog out. And like I said, I don't know who in their right mind would actually like something like this. And if you do somehow like it, I respect you. But again, how could anybody in their right mind like something like this? Right? And it just ends with our Dr. Mr. Horse saying that Ren is just crazy and starts baiting him up. And of course, Ren starts attacking like a cat for some reason, and grabs the gun and baits Dr. Mr. Horse, most likely to death. And we hear some sirens go out, while Ren bites one of the animal control people's arms off and swallows it. He gets wrangled up, and then the frog, slowly but surely, crawls over to the gun and tries to shoot himself. But it's one of those bang guns. You know, one of those toy bang guns. And that's how the episode ends. Again, I don't know who in their right mind would actually like something like this. Of how grotesque and unsettling it is. And you know what? One of the writers, Richard Purcell, the writer of this episode, actually went and wrote it on SpongeBob. And brought us classic, infamous episodes like A Pal for Gary and Pet Sitter Pat. Yeah, he actually brought us Pet Sitter Pat and A Pal for Gary. Which, yeah, it's definitely... I mean, can you really tell, though, right? Can you really tell? Because it's from the same writer. It's obvious that it's from the same writer because of the cruelty, right? The cruelty. But, like I said, who knows, don't know anybody in their right mind who would like something like this, for sure. One of the most, I mean, again, I don't even think adults are even old enough to watch this episode. Like, I don't know who would, again, even though this episode was on a part of a adult program, I don't even think adults can watch this episode. Just without being disgusted and just absolutely disgusted, really, of how horrible it is. And again, it feels like a creepypasta. This is like a creepypasta, but it's a legit thing. It just feels like a creepypasta of how horrible it is. And again, just to think that the genius behind it went on to write Pet Sitter Pat and A Pal for Gary.